My folks quietly swapped out my furniture for months. Then I caught them in the act, scheming for my sister to move into my place without my knowledge. I'm 33, living in a fantastic one-bedroom apartment I've rented for 3 years. I'm a software developer, working a steady 9 to 5, and I live solo. My parents' house is a 20-minute drive away, and they have a spare key for emergencies, something I'm seriously rethinking now. Over the past month, odd changes started popping up in my home. It began subtly. My coffee table, once a deep mahogany, turned into a pale oak piece. One night, I stared at it for 10 minutes, convinced I was going crazy. I called my buddy Kevin to check if he recalled my old coffee table, and he confirmed it was definitely darker before. When I mentioned it to my mom during our weekly call, she laughed it off, suggesting I'd confused it with stuff from my last place. Then my kitchen chairs shifted. I had simple black metal ones with gray pads. Last Monday, I came home to white wooden chairs with flowery cushions. Flowery? I'm a 33-year-old tech guy who strums guitar in my free time. When would I choose floral patterns? Next came the bathroom towels. My plain navy ones vanished, replaced by soft pink ones with fancy trim. I stood in my bathroom clutching these towels, wondering if I was losing it. I'd never bought pink towels. Ever. Yet there they were, neatly folded in my closet. Yesterday was the tipping point. I got home to find my whole living room transformed. My black leather sofa was gone, swapped for a beige cloth sectional buried in throw pillows. My modern black entertainment unit was now a rustic, country-style piece straight out of a home decor magazine. I called my parents immediately. My dad sounded baffled, claiming the landlord must have been doing updates. My mom asked if I'd been sleep buying online and forgotten. Sleep buying furniture I'd never pick? The weird thing is, the new stuff is nice, high-end, well-arranged, clearly costly. But it's not my style. It's like someone slowly turning my space into a home for someone with a taste for light colors and farmhouse vibes. I've scoured my bank statements. No furniture charges, no weird transactions. I checked my emails, my Amazon history. Nothing. My girlfriend Sarah thinks I'm joking, but I swear I'm clueless. She came over last night, kept asking when I'd redecorated, and I just stood there, fumbling to explain I hadn't. The wildest part? Everything's always perfectly set up when I get home. Not just dumped in, carefully placed, even styled. My books are still on the shelves, my personal items untouched, but the rest is shifting. I'm starting to wonder if I need a doctor. Memory issues run in my family. Maybe I've got an early case. But Kevin's seen the changes and Sarah's noticed too. Has anyone dealt with this? I feel like I'm stuck in a mix of a mind game and a home makeover show. I'm considering new locks, but what if I'm just forgetting I bought this stuff? What if something's really wrong with me? I'm lost. Any advice would be a lifesaver. Update 1. You guys were spot on about cameras. First, huge thanks to everyone who suggested security cameras instead of assuming I was cracking up. Special shout out to the person who recommended the sneaky ones that look like phone chargers. They were perfect. Last Friday, I set up 3. One in the living room, disguised as a charger, one in the bedroom, posing as a digital clock, and one in the kitchen, hidden as a tiny speaker. I felt silly, half expecting to catch myself sleep redecorating or something absurd. Wednesday afternoon changed everything. I was at work tweaking code around 2 p.m. when my phone pinged with a motion alert. I opened the app, expecting a stray cat I don't own or maybe a forgotten maintenance guy. Instead, I saw my parents stroll into my apartment like they owned it. My mom held what looked like a design catalog, gesturing and chatting with my dad. I couldn't hear them, but her motions screamed, "This here, that there." My dad was measuring my bookcase with a tape. They spent 45 minutes inside, 45 minutes. They roamed every room, Mom snapping photos of stuff with her phone, Dad jotting notes in a pad. At one point, Mom sat on the beige sectional, laying out what I now see were fabric swatches on the coffee table. I saved the footage and confronted them that night, showing up at their place with my laptop, ready for answers. The talk was surreal. Mom's first reaction to the video wasn't guilt or shock, it was irritation that I'd spied on them. Dad asked how much the cameras cost, noting they looked pro-grade. Then it got wild. They didn't even hide it. Mom called it a normal family project. Apparently my sister Jessica's moving back to town in 2 months after her divorce, and they figured she'd live with me temporarily till she's stable. News to me. They'd been swapping my bachelor pad gear for stuff better suited for a lady to make Jessica feel welcome during this rough patch. Mom thought my leather sofa was too manly, and the sectional would be great for sibling hangouts. I told them I never agreed to Jessica moving in. My place, my rules. Dad jumped in with stats on sky-high rent and how Jessica's ex left her broke. Mom added that Jessica always loved my apartment's potential and has great taste to spruce it up. They acted like they were doing me a favor. Jessica'd chip in for groceries. I'd enjoy family time, like when we shared a room as kids. I asked about the cash. This furniture isn't cheap. Dad casually said they'd been investing in Jessica's future, wanting her surrounded by nice things while she heals. They'd spent thousands on this redo. When I said Jessica can't move in and they're banned from my place without permission, Mom cried, real tears. She called me selfish, said I was ditching family when Jessica needed me. Dad was disappointed in my reaction, saying a real man steps up for his sister. I left with no resolution, but I was clear. Jessica's not moving in, and they're not welcome without my say-so. I'm changing the locks this weekend. But here's my worry. Has anyone told Jessica? I haven't spoken to her since Christmas when she said she was crashing with a friend post-divorce. Does she know about the furniture switch? Is she expecting to move in? I'll call her this weekend after the locks are done. This is insane, but I need to know if she's part of it or as clueless as I was. More updates coming. Update 2. 3 months later, locks are changed, boundaries are set, and my parents aren't taking it well. It's been 3 months since I busted their decorating plot, and after tons of messages asking for updates, here's how it's gone. First, the fallout. I swapped the locks that weekend, no new key for my parents. Mom called it the ultimate family betrayal. She rang me 17 times that first day. 17. I screenshotted the call log before blocking her temporarily. Dad showed up the next Tuesday with a locksmith, clearly thinking he'd override my change. The locksmith, to his credit, asked for my lease and ID. When Dad couldn't prove residency, the guy walked. Dad sat in his car outside my building for an hour, blowing up my work phone with angry voicemails. The furniture mess was a saga. My parents claimed they'd tossed my old stuff for better quality upgrades. I doubted it, but couldn't prove otherwise. I played hardball, gave them 1 week to return my original pieces, or I'd report theft and unauthorized entry. Magically, my stuff reappeared. They dropped it off while I was at work, leaving it in the hallway outside my unit in the pettiest way possible. My neighbor, Mrs. Chen, from 4B, texted, asking if I was moving out because a sofa blocked the fire exit. I called Jessica that weekend. That deserves its own tale, but the gist. She was as shocked as me. She knew nothing of the furniture swap or the plan to move in, and she was mortified when I filled her in. She'd been staying with her college pal, Amanda, and just signed a lease for her own spot across town. Family vibes are still tense. My parents cycled through phases. First, denial. They swore Jessica would see my place was best. Then anger. I was ungrateful, selfish, clueless about family. Then bargaining. Maybe Jessica could crash weekends, use my place as a fallback, or store stuff here. I held firm, and they hit the guilt phase. Every family event became a chance to list all they'd done for me growing up. Mom sighed. I remember when Robert valued family, passing the mashed potatoes. Dad retold stories of how I protected Jessica as kids. The tipping point was my cousin Michael's wedding last month. Mom told relatives I was struggling and not talking to family. Uncles and aunts checked on me, asking if I needed help. I saw they were flipping the story, painting me as the issue instead of owning their overreach. So I did something new. I told the truth. Everyone who asked got the full scoop. Reactions varied, but taught me a lot. Aunt Patricia was livid, saying she'd faced similar meddling with her kids. Uncle David chuckled, calling it classic mom behavior. Grandma, Mom's mom, pulled me aside, unsurprised, saying Mom always had control issues. Cousin Sarah shocked me, saying she pitied me growing up because she saw how my parents favored Jessica. She said the family noticed but stayed quiet, figuring it wasn't their place. Hearing others saw it was validating yet frustrating. Why didn't anyone speak up? My parents are now in sulk mode. They show up to family events, barely say hi to me. Mom asks everyone else how they're doing, skipping me. Dad chats sports with others, ignoring me. But Jessica and I, we're talking more. She's backed me up when our parents tried restarting. The apartment fight. She's shared her own tales of their meddling, and it's been revealing. My apartment's back to normal, with a few new pieces I picked myself. My black leather sofas never looked better. I kept the cameras. Trust, but verify, right? No regrets on standing firm, but it's been draining. Family patterns don't shift fast. Sometimes I wonder if I should have gone along for peace. Then I recall coming home to a fully redone living room without my okay, and I know I'm right. Boundaries aren't flexible, especially with family. Update 3. 6 months later, a talk that shifted everything. I wasn't planning another update, but something big happened last week, and you should know. Jessica called me Sunday night. Not unusual. We've been chatting more since the furniture fiasco, but her tone was off. She sounded worn out, mad, like I felt when I thought I was losing it. "Robert," she said, "I need your honesty on something." She told me about her new place, 4 months in, and weird stuff was happening. First, new bathroom towels appeared, then upgraded kitchen gear. Her throw pillows swapped for ones matching her sofa better. Sound familiar? Our parents had a key to her place for emergencies, like mine. Last week, she came home early with a headache and caught Mom rearranging her bookcase, switching picture frames. Mom's excuse was ready. I'm helping you build a brighter space. Some stuff ties to bad memories you should let go. Jessica's confrontation with them was wilder than mine. When she demanded what gave them the right, Mom launched into a tale of managing our living spaces for years. My blood chilled. This wasn't new. Mom told Jessica she'd tweaked my college dorm decor for being too childish, adjusted Jessica's first married apartment for better hosting, even swapped our clothes, ditching tacky items for nicer ones. Jessica and I talked 3 hours that night, swapping stories. Remember my missing favorite shirts or jackets? How Jessica's place always had new trinkets when I visited. We chalked it up to forgetfulness. Mom had been curating our spaces since we were teens, so smoothly we never questioned it. The furniture swap at my place wasn't a one-off. It was the peak of a long habit. We only noticed because she got bold, changing too much too fast. Robert, Jessica said, I don't think the plan was really me moving in. She'd been mulling since catching Mom, and had a theory. Our parents used her moving in as a ruse to redo both our places to Mom's taste. Jessica figured they'd stretch the temporary stay to finish both, then invent a reason for her to go back to her spot. Brilliant plan. 2 perfectly styled homes to their liking, us too distracted to notice the slow shifts. The more we talked, the deeper it went. Mom had opinions on our clothes, decor, meals, even friends, and acted on them so quietly we adjusted without seeing it. Jessica decided that night. She called our parents, said she's changing her locks too, demanded they return her stuff and list every change they'd made over the years. The fallout was huge. Dad called me next morning, furious, saying I'd turned Jessica against them. Mom sent texts, starting hurt, then accusing us of teaming up, being ungrateful for their support. But we're not budging. For the first time, Jessica and I united against their overreach. We're meeting them this weekend, not to haggle, but to set our terms. No more keys to our homes, no surprise upgrades, no big life calls without us. Some might say we're too tough, that our parents love us and mean well. But here's my takeaway from 6 months. Love without respect isn't love. It's control in a prettier package. Jessica said something that stuck. How many of our tastes aren't ours? I've been pondering it. My place with my old stuff back feels like me again. But I wonder, what else have I adapted to without knowing? The oddest part? Jessica and I are closer than since we were kids. Siblings can be partners when not competing for parental nods or being played against each other. We're ready for this weekend's talk with clear lines and shared goals. Our parents can respect our freedom and keep a good bond, or push control and get a limited one. I'm not worried about their response. Jessica and I have each other, and that feels stronger than any guilt they could toss. I'll update after, but I'm hopeful. Not because they'll change, but because we have. We see the pattern now and won't ignore it. The best family ties are on your terms. Final update. The talk that set us free. I promised a follow-up after our family meeting, and it went in ways I didn't expect. Here's the rundown. Jessica and I met at a coffee shop first to review our points. We wanted a solid front, not letting our parents split or derail us. We each had firm boundaries, agreeing we'd cut contact sharply if they couldn't accept them. The meeting was at their house, in the same living room where I showed the camera footage months ago. Mom was ready. Kleenex staged, old family pics on display, my childhood favorite cookies baked. Classic guilt setup. Dad opened, saying he was glad we were talking like grown-ups to clear this mix-up. He said mix-up 4 times early on. Jessica jumped in first, surprising me. She's usually shied away from clashes, but she's different now. She calmly laid out the pattern. Years of small tweaks, boundary breaches, the furniture scheme. Mom's reply was instant, predictable. Tears. She loved us, wanted the best, didn't get why we'd attack her for caring. Then the surprise. Dad didn't back her up. He went quiet, really quiet, just listening as Jessica listed examples. When she finished, he turned to Mom and asked, Linda, did you really take that painting from her room last year? Mom faltered. It clashed with everything, Richard. It was just sitting there. But it was hers, Dad said softly. She picked it herself. What followed was the realest talk our families had. Dad, it turns out, didn't fully grasp Mom's overhaul campaign. He knew she helped with organizing or grabbing stuff for our places, but not the scale. As we spoke, Dad's face went from puzzled to worried to stunned. When Jessica mentioned lost clothes from years back, Dad said to Mom, That's why Robert asked about his college sweatshirt last Christmas. You said he misplaced it. The mask slipped. Mom tried saying it was all love, wanting us to have nice things, but even she seemed to hear how it landed. Then Dad asked the game changer, "Linda, how'd you feel if your mom did this to you?" Silence hit hard. Mom's bond with her own mother was rocky, partly because Grandma judged her choices and fixed her home during visits. "That's different," Mom said, but it lacked force. "How?" Dad pressed. "What's the difference?" Jessica and I watched Dad piece it together, realizing his wife had been chipping at our independence for years. It was like seeing a light bulb flick on. The discussion was tough but true. Dad backed our boundaries instantly. Mom resisted longer, but with Dad supporting us, she softened. She gave a real apology, not the rehearsed one from before, admitting she was wrong. Our feelings mattered. We set rules. No keys to our homes, no entry without our okay, no touching our stuff, no life plans without our input. 2 months later, things are better mostly. Mom still slips, offering unasked decor tips, but Dad's quick with, "Linda, they didn't ask for advice." Jessica and I stay tight, texting often, hanging out without parents, building our own bond. It's weird having a sister in my corner as adults. The funniest part? My place feels like mine. I've added pieces I picked, reflecting me. My black leather sofa and dark wood table remind me I call the shots. Jessica's redoing her place, grabbing bold, quirky art Mom wouldn't like. Mom eyed one vivid piece last visit, said nothing, but looked pained. Will our parents change for good? I'm unsure. Mom's controlling streak lingers. Habits die slow. But Jessica and I spot it now. We've got each other and won't shy from speaking up. Dad's a surprise ally, calling out Mom's oversteps elsewhere too. He's seeing what he missed for years. Looking back, the furniture swap was a gift. If Mom stuck to her subtle ways, we might have missed it. She got bold, moved fast, and exposed decades of boundary violations. Our bond with our parents isn't flawless, but it's real. We're adults choosing to connect on our terms, not some unexamined family script. Mom asks permission before decor tips now. Dad checks if I want help first. Small shifts, big impact. Jessica and I joke about a book, How Our Mom's Decor Fixation Taught Us Boundaries. We won't write it, but it cracks us up. My advice for family struggles? Sometimes you risk the bond to save it. Facing family is scary, especially if you're taught to dodge fights. But the flip side, living by someone else's vision, is scarier. Allies help. If Jessica and I tackled this alone, our parents might have split us. Together, we were unstoppable. My apartment's mine now. Cameras aren't needed. Locks are new and staying. Every item here's my choice, showing who I am, not who others want. It's a small win, but feels huge. I'm 33, and for the first time, my space is fully mine. My black leather sofa's still the best spot for Netflix on a Sunday. Thanks to all who followed this ride and cheered me on. Sometimes internet strangers confirm your situation's as odd as you think, and you're not overreacting. Families are messy, but boundaries make it simpler.